Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you are all well, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. This is video 2 of 2, and the video that was going to be number 2 today will be number 1 tomorrow. So tomorrow, it'll look like I just don't know what day it is, which is a rarity. You're looking absolutely amazing, I must add. You beautiful, beautiful person, you. Anyway, I need to crack on because we've got a bit to go through. Now, first of all, what we need to do is look at this, because in this, we're going to take a look at Tyler Robinson and understand that not only are certain people trying to push certain narratives that I don't know whether it's a mistake or whether it's purposeful, but we have to call people out when they need to be called out. Because what they're doing is they're saying things that aren't right, but they're missing what this could actually mean when they're incorrect. And this is what I mean by this. So we're going to go on to here and look at this first. And this is going to be Candace Owens. Earlier on today, I covered this video. And I cut it short because I wanted to do this on its own so people could pay attention to what's happening here. So basically, up to this point, Candace Owens, who I respect fully. I think she's great. I think that she is absolutely someone who you want in your corner if there's something gone wrong. But in this situation, she's off the mark here. And probably way further off the mark than perhaps she fully appreciates at this stage. She's talking about Tyler Robinson, and she's just said that Tyler Robinson certainly didn't write these text messages. And she's apparently in communication with somebody who has said Tyler Robinson didn't write them. Now, I questioned that in the video earlier today. I said, well, how do they know? How does this individual that's reached out to you know that Tyler didn't write them unless it's either his family or someone who had been in communication with him after all this had kicked off? And because of how quickly this went, would Tyler have been reaching out to friends to have a further discussion about what if he wasn't involved? It's almost like it's a fucking weird one. Really, really weird. But look, this is what we need to do. We need to listen to this piece of Candace Owens' video. Pay close attention to what she says.
Believes that they are therefore entirely fictionalized. It turns out, you're going to be shocked, that he doesn't actually use words like vehicle, which should come as no surprise to anyone that has a brain. By the way, I'm sure you caught this, but there's old footage of Tyler Robinson that is now circulating from a car accident.
So we know what's going to happen here. So you've heard very clearly that Candace Owens, and she's said, look, he doesn't use the terminology vehicle. You know, he just doesn't do it.
Accident that he had. And during the discussion with the officer that showed up, Tyler certainly refers to it as his car, not his vehicle, because that's how most English speakers refer to a car. And
so we've got that clear and in the bag. We've got it clear and in the bag that that's the angle that Candace. And look, this isn't a hate track on Candace. I love Candace. I think she's fantastic. And again, as aforementioned, I think she's someone that you want fight in your corner. The issue is she is incorrect here. And because she's incorrect, she is missing a very important piece of the puzzle in terms of Tyler Robinson and these text messages. And I'm going to prove it here. So what you're seeing here is the footage. Now, up to this point, he has been addressing his car as his car. And later on in this video, he will, speaking to his mum, speak about his mum's car and speak to his mum about her car. In this proportion of the video, what you're now about to watch here, however, what has happened is they have seemingly been caught out by the cops because it's to do with whose fault it was. Now, the cop had asked them if one of them had made a statement to say whose fault it was. Now, Tyler's turned around and said, I didn't make the statement. And the other individual, who is Tyler's brother, has had to come forward and said, look, after this happened, I've come out and I've said, look, don't worry, it was our fault. So the cop has turned around and said, hold on a second, because now we've got different versions of events and what happened and whose fault it was, yada, yada, yada. So tell me what actually happened. So he's been put in a position where the cop has got to the point where he said, look, I want to know what's actually happening there. What is going on? Now pay close attention again.
So you're heading
from that rightmost through lane through the intersection. And maybe a second or so before I reached the intersection, the light changed yellow.
Okay, do you remember looking at the light?
Yeah, I was looking up at the light just before getting there.
Okay.
I saw it shift yellow. And as I get into the intersection, there was a vehicle in the lane between like the leftmost through lane that was forward some.
So there you go. So he has literally just stated that there was a vehicle. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, it means that Candace Owens is wrong. I hate to say it, but she is indeed wrong. Now, look, it is what it is. She's wrong. And I don't know whether she is intentionally wrong because she hasn't watched the entire video, or someone sent her a segment of that video in order to manipulate her. Now, this puts me into, and again, this ain't a hate track. I have to be straight. I have to be straight because by not understanding what has happened here, you miss the point. Because we've been shown some text messages, right? And like I say, Candace she has been fed information that is incomplete and she has allowed herself to be manipulated, or she has watched this and completely missed it and not understood what's happened here, or she is intentionally being misleading. And I hope that it's not for her to be intentionally misleading. I'd like to think that someone's either sent her it and she's watched the segment that's been sent and this car. But he very, very clearly, when he is being addressed directly by law enforcement and being asked to provide them a story, he then resorts to vehicle. So again, how does that fit into this narrative? So we're pushed into this situation where we're shown some text messages that are supposed to be between Tyler and Lance, which is, almost this poetic fucking swan song where he's basically knows that he's fucked and he's going through everything and he goes through and says, here, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried that my old man would do what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. So I think what this leads me to do, my kind of critical mind would lead me to believe that based on the information that I have, it would mean that when Tyler is quite in a position where he's talking to family, like his mum, and when he's just talking, he uses the words that we are more familiar with. The car, my car, your car, her car, his car, a car. But when he is put into a position where he has got to be giving a story, and in that footage, it was directly to law enforcement to formally explain something, he resorts to vehicle. So my question is, if Tyler Robinson didn't write this at all, it's strange how it kind of fits in with him when he's being addressed by law enforcement to actually say vehicle, or is that just coincidental? And furthermore, if this was indeed written by Tyler Robinson, then isn't that indicative that this isn't a text message exchange that is being directed to Lance Twiggs? It's in fact being directed, or the mindset is that this is being directed to law enforcement, and it has been written in a way that provides all of the information that they would need. And if that's the case, I have to ask why. Why would he do this? And why would he write something out that is directed to law enforcement as if this is a confession, but write it to Lance Twiggs? Why would he write it to that individual? If this is some kind of, I'm directing this at law enforcement, this is my confession, then why wouldn't he just have handed himself in, stayed silent, not reached out to anybody, not reached out to anyone at all, but just gone to law enforcement and confessed by giving them this information? And this could have been his formal, you know, his I did it. This is my confession. Why would you even send this to Lance Twiggs in the first place? Especially when it would appear, from my perspective, that this was directed at law enforcement. And the only thing, my conclusion is that this is almost, he's got to tell Lance that he has been caught and he is screwed. But he can't just write that because he knows, he's not an idiot, that law enforcement will see those text messages. So instead of just being able to reach out to him and saying, look, mate, I've been caught, I'm fucked, he does it in a way that he is giving the information over in this manner while somehow trying to simultaneously vindicate Lance Twiggs. Tell me I'm wrong, and you can shut up again. I've nearly got through the whole video about you moaning. Do you want to come up? Come up. There he is. Who is it? Who is it? You're a big old beast, didn't you? What do you think? Do you think Lance Twiggs is involved? He looked like you. Doesn't he? Not as handsome, but see you later. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Oh.